This is Joe Pugh for the Boxing Voice, joined here at Matchroom Gym with Craig Richards, 1 week on through since your disappointing but great night against Joshua Buatsi.
Yeah, man, it was a tremendous night. Wasn't happy, obviously, disappointed in the result, but it was a good night, good atmosphere and a good fight, good dance partner.
We was speaking off camera about the atmosphere of the night, the occasion itself. Your biggest night of your career?
Occasion-wise, yeah, I enjoyed it. Headline the O2 Arena, big fight, tight fight, close fight, enjoyable fight, action-packed. Yeah, it was a good night.
Talk to me about the fight then. Obviously, many people are saying it was a fight of two hearts. Josh started really well and he kind of controlled the rounds, maybe taking the early rounds, but then you come on really strong at the end of the fight, especially round 8 when you rocked him.
Yeah, I probably just only nicked a couple of the early rounds and he came on strong early rounds. He was very clever. When I was winning certain rounds, he would come along strong in the last 10, 15 seconds, flurry. Very clever fighter. Obviously at the back end, I kicked in, warmed in and just started really going for it and pressing the situation. But it was good, man. It was back and forth action.
Have you watched the fight back since?
Yeah, I watched it back. I feel like everyone's had their opinion. Obviously, a couple of people had me winning the rounds, a couple of people had it a draw, some people had him winning by a round. It was a tight fight and it was just an enjoyable fight. I think the fans won, really.
Do you believe you've done enough, though, to get the decision on the night?
Yeah, I do. I feel like I've done enough. As you heard on Channel 5, afterwards I spoke to Buatsi, Groves and them lot. They all had me up one round. One of the Channel 5 had it a draw. Because I said to myself, is it me just being me? When they counted me at the end, they said, oh, we had you up one round. I was like, okay, cool. But as I said, it was what you liked, innit? He threw eye-catching flurries. I was busier throughout the round, working throughout the round. So it's kind of like what you liked, innit?
There was a lot of kind of talk on Twitter during the fight, I think, because Tony Bellew gave every one of the first, I think it was 6 or 7 rounds to Josh. Was it 8? What did you make of that?
I think even the round that rocked him, he gave him 2. No, he did. The round that actually rocked him, he gave it to him as well. Round 8, he gave him as well. The one he was out on his feet, he gave it to him as well. It was just getting ridiculous a little bit. People keep asking me what Bellew's issue with me. I don't know what his issue with me is. I don't know if there is an issue, or he just wants to be a harsh critic. Maybe he wants to see me do better. I don't know, but yeah, I don't understand why he keeps doing that. Even my last fight with that Mateo, when I stopped the guy and won every round, he had me down the scorecards on that one as well. No, I know it's it gets silly, but there's no point worrying about all that stuff. I just got to focus on what I've got to do.
Definitely. So moving forward, there's even been speak of a potential rematch between yourself and Josh after a brilliant first time round. Surely that would only get bigger. That
would only get bigger. I think I'll be more interested in it. You know, everyone knows what we're both about now and how stylistically it gels so well. It wasn't a fight that the styles was negative. Sometimes you get two people with a big build-up and in the styles you're just like no action going on. You're like, what's going on here? You're both tensive, but it was non-stop action throughout the fight. If I weren't working, he was working. If he weren't working, I was working. So it was a brilliant fight.
Do you believe that there could be a rematch in the future?
Yeah, 100%. I think we'll cross paths. I believe we're both at world level, and you see it was a very tight fight, opinionated of who got what. So you can see we're both there. So, and we both still got high ambitions. I still got ambitions to become world champion. I know he has as well. So, and obviously boxing ain't seen the last of any of us. So, and we're both at that level now. So we could cross paths again.
After the fight before Buatsi, you was asked about kind of domestic guys, and you said you're beyond that level now. Obviously, that it is a domestic fight, but it was a domestic fight at world level. So, have you changed your opinion on that now that you've seen how big these occasions are with the likes of Lyndon Arthur, Anthony Yard?
Remember, I've had loads of domestics. I know how big they are. It was like I've had the Jake Bulls co-main at O2, headline with Pitters. I've had loads of these. Higgins co-headlined against a guy 12-0. We've had loads of domestic clashes. I just wanted something new in my career. I've had all these big pressure domestic dust-ups, and it was just like I've done this time and time again. So I just felt like it wasn't new to me, and if I won another one, it wasn't like another thing I've achieved. Obviously, Buatsi being who he is was a different occasion for me. It was different from a British domestic duff-up because he's world level and he's tipped to be like a world champion as well. So it was different completely fighting Buatsi than the regular domestic guys.
Did you feel there was a bit of spite between you and Josh before the fight? Because we were just talking down there how tense it was when you did get in the ring.
I don't think it was spite as in dislike people as each other. We got a lot of respect for each other, but it was a thing of we both knew each other was top operators and we was both in each other's way. And we both just wanted to win the fight bad. And you could see that in the fight, how we had the tear up, that we both just wanted it. It wasn't personal. It was literally we just wanted to move on and both get the win.
I haven't spoke to you since Bivol got the win over Canelo. Surprised a lot of fans, and big underdog victory, someone who you fought yourself, and I think that kind of boosted the fight with Joshua in itself, how close you come to it. But what did you make of Bivol's performance?
Tremendous. You know, as I always said to people saw the way I closed the distance on him and they thought, oh, well, that means he's not all that. Before I fought him, he was one of the pound for pounds. After I fought him, people writ him off. But I was saying I was having success with him because certain things you got to do with him. I had the footwork, the jab, the IQ to be in the conversation, to start getting in the fight with him. And I said, if you ain't got them early assets, you won't get into the conversation. Canelo's good at closing the ring down, but he hasn't got the fastest feet or the best jab. And that's why Dimitri Bivol wouldn't allow him in the conversation. And he got to show how good he was, Dimitri Bivol.
And do you believe that Canelo, with the right adjustments, could beat Bivol, or is it a case of Bivol just too big and too strong?
It's boxing, anything can happen. I'll never write someone off at elite level. Game plans, adjustments, the nights, it all plays a part. If Canelo started throwing them big winging shots in on Dimitri Bivol and he unravelled, then the fight would have went different. He had to stay composed, stick to his game plan, not get drawn out, and he just had a perfect game plan and stuck to it. On a different night, he might not have been able to stick to it. You never know with boxing.
And finally, coming up in the next few weeks, a massive fight at 175, big unification. Joe Smith Jr. versus Artur Beterbiev. What do you make of that fight, and who do you think gets the W?
Very good fight, but people don't understand. Joe Smith Jr.'s got a chin, and he can punch. We've seen Beterbiev down before, so we know there's always that possibility that Joe Smith can punch very hard, and he can be dropped. Same time, you can't write off Beterbiev. Monster. What, 18-0, 19-0, one of them, 19 KOs? You never write him off. He's a tremendous fighter. It's a very interesting fight, and I think it's more level than people think. I obviously would tip towards Beterbiev naturally, but I think Joe Smith's definitely in the conversation.
Brilliant. Craig, thank you very much for taking your time to speak to me today, and hopefully speak to you again soon. Cheers.